our next guest's call of a jaw jam. My good friend Carter Blackburn joining us this morning on the show. Carter, good morning.
Good morning. I would love to go with a DA dunk, but I don't know what kind of rim that would require. But yeah, it was pretty fun. Pretty fun to watch that guy ball out on Thursday, and he played great on Saturday too. It's just Florida State was really, really good.
Yep,
FSU. They won.
FSU has amazing athletes, and they move on to the Sweet 16. A DA dunk would be on a 7-foot-high rim with a Nerf. I'm a big Nerf jam. That's what I can do. I can throw it down.
That's some of my favorite. I mean, I don't have many accomplishments as an athlete, but the real intense Nerf 7-foot hoop one-on-one games were, I mean, really intense. I might need to set one of those up for your visit when you come to Austin. I might need to set up a 7-foot Nerf rim. That'd be pretty fun.
Yeah, the wives would love that. Let just the two of us playing Nerf basketball for like hours.
Yeah,
on
exactly.
Yeah, I can see
that. Exactly. Just totally ignoring misses and kids and anything. Just going one-on-one. That sounds great. So basically, we would be trying to do what this show does on a daily basis, which is revert back to adolescence around sports. Just the casting off all adult responsibilities and returning to your 12 and 13-year-old sports fantasies. Is that a safe recap of what goes on daily on the DA show?
I would say yes. That's a pretty good way to encapsulate this show. That's pretty good. Hey, how magnetic and captivating was it to watch Ja Morant in person those two games?
Pretty electric. I mean, it's why you show up every time at the gym or the football stadium or whatever, because there's a chance you're going to see something that you've never seen before, and you never know when it's going to happen. And for Ja Morant, we had him in the tournament last year against West Virginia out in San Diego when he was a freshman, and he was a very good player who played a so-so game. And they lost, and nobody was talking about Ja Morant's performance in the NCAA tournament. So you show up this time and say, okay, well, this is a different deal, and I've paid much closer attention to him throughout the year, and I've seen some pretty spectacular things. But, okay, now that it's on a bigger stage, and, gosh, Marquette from the Big East has got some really good players, and is Marcus Howard going to be the guy who carries it? And then right before your eyes, you see things you've never, that you've never seen on a guy. I mean, he's right-handed, and he's making incredible left-handed passes and incredible left-handed dunks, and you go, oh, he is so ready for this stage, and was Marquette from the Big East, who nearly won the Big East this year, was just overmatched by a sophomore from Murray State, and we tried to do as much storytelling as we can, but you go back into his background, and great mom and dad who prepared him for this and prepared him to go to a place like Murray State, and just because some other schools, and there were some other schools, bigger schools, who were interested and wanted Ja Morant, and it was like, no, Murray State wants you, and they're going to coach you well, and you're going to be prepared for it, and really a good overall team, not just a one-man band, but clearly Ja was the special piece of the puzzle.
No doubt. That's likely why he's going to be the number 2 pick of the NBA draft behind Zion Williamson coming up in June. Carter Blackburn joins us this morning on the show. He had the Hartford pod. You also got to see Villanova and Purdue, and they kind of got together. Purdue ends up coming out of that part of the region. So we didn't really have a lot of upsets. We got 1 versus 4s and 2 versus 3s pretty much across the board. The only double-digit seed still alive is Oregon. You watched and did so many games over college basketball's regular season and postseason. Did you foresee this being a tournament of chalk because of a separation from the top-tier teams and the lower-tier teams?
Oh, no. I think I took the 1s and 2 seeds, and then I took basically every double-digit seed in the bracket that I filled out. My favorite, though, my favorite is the chest thumping after Murray State wins. It's like, hey, I had that, bro. I had the 12. I had Murray State. It's like, oh, really? 12-5, and we know that the 12-5 matchup is the one that always produces a quote-unquote upset.
Yeah.
And you chose the team that's going to have the number 2 pick. That's not a that's not a UMBC pick right there. You know, like that was not Loyola going to the Final Four. That was not a miraculous like, oh, you took the incredible 12 seed with the magical point guard who the Phoenix Suns and Magic Johnson are watching. Like that was hey, I had Murray State. I had that one. I had okay, great. That's great. Yeah, good for you. You're not Jimmy the Greek picking your bracket. But no, I just like everybody else, I thought there were going to be a bevy of double-digit seeds moving on. Yeah, I mean, and Oregon, Oregon was really, really good before Bull, another lottery pick type guy. Like he went down, so even there was a double-digit seed moving out of the Sweet 16. Like that's not even surprising. I mean, the surprising part is it is chalk. That's the upset for me. We're going into the second weekend going like, oh, okay, I guess there's not really Cinderella this year.
Yeah, it's kind of bizarre. We won't have a VCU, a Butler, a George Mason, even into the Sweet 16 we won't have that. That's all been eliminated by all of the top-tier teams. Do you think this just happened to be a real top-heavy year, and that's why it ended up breaking that way? Or did you have games that just kind of bounce the ball goes against some of those Cinderellas?
That's what I think. I think it's fluky. I mean, look at Wofford and Fletcher McGee and not hitting a shot. Like that's ridiculous. I mean, if he shoots like 30% in that game, they may win. You know, I mean, UCF is obviously a point away from beating Duke. Well, I guess it's a 1-point game, so they were 2 points away from beating Duke. So I think it is. I think you do kind of chalk it up to flukiness, and then. You know, and then sometimes when you get a 4 seed or think about whatever South Carolina was seeded a few years ago, they may have been like an 8 seed, like because there is an upset, then all of a sudden their path is paved to the Final Four because they're playing a 14 seed and a 10, whatever it is. You know, you're like those early round upsets sometimes pave ways for Final Four teams from a major conference you didn't see coming. And you don't really have that anymore, you know. And now it's like, oh, okay, like the big guys are going to play the big guys, and that's fun in its own right too. I mean, I remember the 2008 Final Four is the only year that all number 1 seeds have made it to the Final Four, and it was an awesome Final Four. It ends with Mario Chalmers and Kansas beating Memphis in overtime in one of the great final games. With my wife Karen accidentally sitting in Justin Timberlake's seat.
Oh boy,
that's a whole other story. But
wow,
yeah, it was. I mean, that was. I think we're trending towards that, where you get a star-studded blue blood Elite Eight Final Four, and that's fun too. I mean, I would have liked to see a run by Wofford or Buffalo or Murray State. I mean, I think it would have been pretty. I think it would been pretty electric to have Ja being playing in the second weekend and a chance to go to the Final Four. But my hunches, we have not heard the last of Ja Morant.
I would probably tend to agree there.
Yeah, that's a pick just like the guy who goes, I had that one. Yeah, you know what? I think he's going to go pro. I think he's going to be a pro, DA. I think he's going to go on.
Carter Blackburn joins us, one of the voices of March Madness. Really, before I let you go, now you've got my interest piqued. Was Justin Timberlake frustrated, angry, kind, patient when he came back and Karen was in his seat?
Well, the circumstance was an unnamed person named Jay Williams was like at the last minute was like, "Hey, I've got a couple tickets." You said your wife was looking for tickets. You're like, I was like, "Yeah," and her boss, "Yeah, okay, great." So I get the tickets, and I'm like, "Oh, this is like 2 rows behind the Memphis bench." Like she was sitting in the section with Jesse Jackson, George Gervin, David Robinson. I'm like, gee, Will, what is? He's like, oh yeah, those like JT decided he was going to sit somewhere else, so So I'm like, oh, okay. So Karen and her boss, who just last minute decided to drive down from Austin to San Antonio looking for 2, ended up with the VIP seats. So
ended up with Justin Timberlake seats.
Right. For the 2000 and Karen likes basketball, but it wasn't like it wasn't like she would have been bleeding from the eyes if she didn't get into the building to watch, Kansas versus Memphis. So yet again, it's one of those circumstances where it's like, oh, well, I'm not sure that was like justice in the sports world, but I'm really glad. Yeah, and of course, like her boss at the time was like, wow, these are good seats. And let me make this clear. It will never ever happen again. But they got to see Yeah, as well as wow, these are really good seats. And when I pick, oh yeah, those are very, very good seats. I hope you enjoy.
Yeah, Joey Fatone and J.C. Chazet are like trying to. Hey, Karen, can you move your head? I can't quite see the court over there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Now you want to get the seats in front of David Robinson too. Like right. That's a bummer. Yeah, right. That's a bummer. Like I've watched a football game behind Kevin Durant, and it's kind of like, and listen, KD, I know you can't really do anything about the size, but I can't. I don't know. I couldn't see whether they picked up 3rd and 1 there. Like come on, KD, down in front.
Yeah, hopefully Karen's tickets to the upcoming Final Four are in front of Taco Fall. Let's just
right. Yeah, and then Kevin Durant started hating me on social media, so I don't know how that all worked out. But
well, you're in good company with that one.
Right, I know.
Yes.
He was upset. Hey, guy behind me who kept yelling, "Stop being so tall, KD. You're the worst."